Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Friday, the 3rd of March, 2023. And if you're wondering, why do I look a little different? Why is the lighting a little different? Apparently, I had some kind of a weird filter on my camera up to now. Looks better now, doesn't it? Like, seriously? So I don't know what happened, but all day, the camera looked great. People were complimenting how good it looked, okay? Interesting day today, because I was only playing one game, but at the very same time, there was something else that happened that was quite interesting, so allow me to cover it. So first of all, today's game was Long Fallen Dynasty. I played it all day. Played around a little over two and a half hours on the first stream and another 2 hours on the late stream. Got all the way through the first, second, and third stages of the game, basically in my premiere day. Here's what I have to say about it. Graphics are nice, okay, definitely. But outside of that, it kind of feels like it's a combination of Neo with Sekiro, all right, and the major difference here is in Neo, it's all about getting a weapon, mastering how to use it, blowing through your enemies with good combos that kind of do weapon stand switches, and then kind of, summoning your transformation or your creature, because each game was a little different, and basically building momentum, keeping the momentum flowing through boss fights, and then, of course, being careful to not being ambushed and stuff like that. In this game, it's like Sekiro, and what I mean by that is you can't just bum rush enemies at all like you could in Neo. In this one, it's all about looking for an opening for them to try to attack and then parrying them and building up your ability to blow through them after parrying. So you can parry and then go like light, and then your heavy attack charges up, and then you can do a heavy, and it does a big amount of damage and stagger. If you stun them, then you can do a second attack that's like a death blow. So like that, it's very similar than Sekiro. If you just parry, though, nonstop, you will not beat someone. Like in Sekiro, that will not happen. It's kind of a combination of gameplay. And, for the most part, if you played Sekiro, you're probably going to like this game. But after having played it for almost 5 hours today, I have to criticize it. It doesn't feel as good, polished, refined, or well-designed as a FromSoft game at all. It feels wonky, because when you're playing Sekiro, okay, the cool thing about Sekiro is it's so well-polished that you can encounter 5 guys, and you can easily be parrying them all, going between them, taking them down, using techniques and things. In this game, it's like, oh, there's 2 enemies. Okay, I'm blocking, parrying one. You go to the other, you can't even really properly kind of redirect your attack or aim to the other one if you want. God forbid if there's an enemy off camera, that thing's just going to hit you. Or if you happen to randomly parry it by luck, you can't like turn and then hit that enemy. It's very much a system that feels like they had half the idea of how to do it and didn't really test it well, because the combat does feel wonky, finicky, and in a lot of cases chaotic. There'll be like you and 2 teammate assists attacking everything in a cluster, and you can't even see who's hitting who or what's happening, and then all of a sudden someone will run across the map, come off camera, boop, instant death. Yes, instant deaths are terrible in this game. They are rampant so far. Like, I couldn't tell you how many times I'm destroying a boss, kicking its ass. Oh, I have this new attack, boop, instant death, start over. Huh? I don't even get a chance. Yeah, it's very, again, it's frustrating and unpolished. Like in Sekiro, it's very challenging, but it feels fair. In this game, it just feels challenging. Let's put it that way. It's not fair. There's a lot of situations where you are doing everything right, but because it's a beginner's trap, you're fighting the enemy for the first time, haha, get slapped around. I mean, there's even a game mechanic supposedly in the game. As you go through a level, you gain a ranking. It's called renown. The higher renown you have, the easier the enemies are to beat. But as you die, you lose renown. So if you get to the final boss of a stage and you die repeatedly on it, your renown goes down and the boss gets harder. I'm trying to learn a boss. The boss is one-shotting me, but it gets harder if I die. How does that make any sense? Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding the game mechanic, but that's what my viewers told me today, and I was like, that sounds like the worst game mechanic I might have ever heard of. I don't think I like it, okay? I'm not saying I hate the game. I'm enjoying it. I beat 3 stages. The first boss is ridiculously difficult because they expect you to know all the gameplay mechanics, and they teach you none of them. You're supposed to know you should be constantly blocking, but you can parry while you block. You're supposed to know that you're supposed to do light attacks to charge up the stagger in your heavy attack before you use it, because if you just use a regular heavy, it does pretty much nothing. You need to charge it up with light attacks first. That's not explained before the first boss. There's a point where the boss switches phases, And then to beat the second phase, you have to press Y and B together. That's, I guess you could say that's triangle and circle together on a PlayStation controller with no explanation. You're just supposed to know to do it. I guess at one point in the fight, it flashes up in a corner. I never saw it. My chat told me, oh, you could have beat this boss 2 or 3 times already. You need to know to press these buttons. What? It's not a mechanic that's explained. This game does a terrible job of teaching you how to play it. My stream chat taught me how to play the game because the game didn't do it right. I'm sorry, but in 2023, the game should tell me how to play it. I shouldn't have to do prior research. My chat shouldn't have to educate me. It should just be, hey, here's how you play this game you just bought, right? And this game does a very poor job of that, in my opinion. Or maybe I missed the tutorial. I don't know. I don't think I skipped any major areas so far in the game. So, it's not bad. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. A lot of people are saying, actually, early on, it's worse. As you play further in, the game gets much better. Maybe. I actually hope that's true. I do. Because I have hopes for the game. You know, it's a Game Pass game. Thank goodness I didn't have to spend any money on it. I'm always appreciative when that's the case. But at the same time, I enjoyed my 4.5 to 5 hours of it today. I would like to play it as a full playthrough, but a lot of people are saying it's a lengthy game, just like Neo was. Now, is this going to be one of those situations where when I get to the 4th, 5th stream, people are like, nah, well, it's overstayed its welcome. The game's just too much of the same. And if it was a FromSoft game, maybe we would care, but because it's not FromSoft, we're not going to watch it. I don't know. That is really one of the major reasons why I don't play every single flavor of the month FromSoft knockoff game. And there's been so many of them in the last couple of years. And you guys always ask me, why don't I play them? This is exactly why. Because when you play a FromSoft knockoff, you wish you were playing the real thing. Like, I'm playing this game, and I'm like, man, I wish I'm playing Sekiro. You know? Man, does this game need a grappling hook? There's none. It's just double jumping. And, man, if it had a grappling hook, I feel like it would be a much better game. Maneuvering around, being able to do things better. It just feels like there's something missing. And that's my problem. If I play this 2-3 streams, am I going to go for stream 4 and everyone's like, wow, this is really bad now because it's the same thing. It's not FromSoft, and, you know. Now, it wouldn't be the end of the world if that happened. Quite frankly, we have other things we can do. But, yeah, it would be disappointing if, you know, I invest that amount of time into it. You know, we're talking 10, 12, 14 hours, and then people just decide they don't like it anymore and don't want to follow the playthrough. I guess we'll see. Watch for yourself. Let me know what you think. You know, did I bitch on a couple of bosses? I did. The first boss and the boss at the end of Stage 3. I think the boss at the end of Stage 3 is terrible. That is a joke from any kind of this kind of difficulty style game. This is a button masher boss where all you do is you overwhelm it, and then it has a second phase where you can't overwhelm it as well, and you got to dodge a bunch of magic and then run up and hit it and dodge a bunch of magic and run up and hit it. It's boring. It's very tedious and boring, as opposed to other bosses. You have to maybe learn the patterns, parry. At least that's a little bit more interesting. So, I guess we'll see moving forward. I am hoping that it gets better like people have told me. I certainly hope you enjoy the videos. Now, the other big thing that happened today is that I announced that I am likely going to be on a podcast in a couple of weeks. It's called Side Scrollers. I explained the whole situation on my own Level 1 podcast from this morning. If you want the full story, if you want the details on it, please watch that show from earlier today. And I will have, hopefully, you know, more information about that soon. Whether it's, you know, it's a definite lock or not, and the date that it will happen. All right? But, yeah, please watch that podcast. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts. And then we'll go from there. All right? Now, tomorrow, all right, it's React Day. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do a Level 1 podcast right here on DSP Gaming. After the podcast, we're going to be doing DSP versus the Internet, my weekly React stream over on the DSP Reacts channel. That's youtube.com/@DSP Reacts. At 12:45 a.m. Pacific time is when that stream will be. That'll be a 3-hour React stream. And then tomorrow night, we're doing Oblivion chill stream here on DSP Gaming, 6:45 p.m. So good variety tomorrow, a podcast, reacting fun, and then chill Oblivion afterward. We will cycle back to Long Fallen Dynasty as the main gameplay stream this coming Sunday. Okay? Guys, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed today's content. Enjoy Wolong, and I'll be back with more fun stuff tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace out. Man, I'm loving this new camera quality. See you tomorrow. It would help if I hit stop recording. Duh. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.